Hello and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Realms, where today I'm going to have got some big plans to upgrade the general profile of this town. Now, I've got the idea of building up a couple of houses just over my, what are these things, the iron farm, so one here and one over there, and I'll show you the design in a few seconds. The other thing I've got is to upgrade the tree farm, so while the tree farm itself is good, I'm thinking that I need to put something underneath to collect everything. So that would be hoppers underneath these slabs, and that would collect any trees, any saplings, any apples from the oak leaves and the dark oak trees, as well as any wood that happens to fall under here. So that's going to be quite a big project, and I reckon that will take up most of today's episode. But let's get straight into the design for the iron farm. And I've hopped into a creative version of a previous world, and this is the design that I went with. Now, it looks it's supposed to be like a pretty big mansion, what with the spruce logs and the I think these are dark oak and the stone slabs. Now, the reason why it doesn't have an overhang on the outside, all the way over here, is because that would cover up the glass, and that would actually prevent the iron farm from working. Now, I'm not sure if I should do this design again, because it is a rather stock standard design, and again, it's going to be rather easy to build. Well, it's going to take a little while to build, but it'll be rather easy to build since I've got the design in my mind already. But again, it's just something that I've done over and over. Now, this one has the entrance right at the front, but again, if I come over here, where I had my second iron farm, the design is right off to the side. Now, what I could do is build a little bit of a hut on this side for the, the entrance to the iron farm. So I might do that in the realms at the moment and see if that actually looks a lot better. But anyway, I think I will indeed go with the design and see how we go when I finish building it. Now, this thing is going to require a whole lot of glass panes, which I do have a whole lot of already. The plain glass panes, that is. That's a bit of a tongue twister. And moving on from there, I do need a lot of the spruce logs. I think it's spruce or dark oak. I might go with dark oak as a dark oak frame, so let's see, 4 stacks should do it. A lot of the planks, which again I'm going to have to get maybe 4 stacks of that as well. And what else was there? There was the stone slabs, which are on this side of the thingamabob, the storage system. I don't have a lot of them, I don't think. The 64 won't be enough, so I'll get again 4 stacks of that. And yes, I think that should be enough for now, so I'm going to get started on building it. Just a little bit of an update. As you can see, I've started on the log frame. Now, this bit took exactly 2 stacks of dark oak, so I'm definitely going to need more than 4 stacks of dark oak logs to finish off both iron farms. But for now, I'm starting on the bottom layer of this, which just involves building up the corners and then putting up the windows every now and then. So I think it was here, and then of course I need to fill in that bit in here. And of course I'm just going to keep doing this because it is a rather long building process, and I'll keep doing this and check in a little bit later. And as you can see, I finished off the bottom layer of this, minus of course the stone slabs. Now I'm going to get started on the second iron farm, or the original iron farm that is, and build up to the same standard that this one currently is at, and I'll come back when I've done that. And now the second one is done. You can just see the first one in the background there, and the second one over here. Now it's time to get started on the second story, which of course involves putting in all the overhangs, which including the little stone slabs on this side, and the little bit of roof with 4 starting on the actual second story of each building. And there we have it. The second part of the story is completed. Now, obviously, I still got to finish off the roof and all that on all the stone bits and the attic bits, but I'm going to start on the second iron farm again, or I'm going to continue on the second iron farm and get it up to the same level as this. Now, one thing it did do is highlight exactly how much of resources it takes just to build this thing. I actually went back and got some more dark oak logs, which I actually now need a lot more of. I've only got about a stack or 2 left in my inventory in my storage. It also uses quite a lot of spruce. I think I've still got 4 or 5 stacks of that left. In fact, I might need to pinch another set of logs for this. Yeah, that's how much spruce I have, and that's how much dark oak I have. However, it also highlights exactly how much stone slabs I need, and I'm going to have to pinch some more from my storage. Where is it? Over here. Let's get 5, 6 Yes, 6 stacks of that should do it. So I'm going to continue on this. Firstly, I'm going to sleep, and then I'll get started on this second part of the iron farmhouses. And there we go. The second iron farm, the second story is now complete. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to need, I think it's 24 panes. That's 8 panes per side. So yes, 32 panes per side per iron farm left. And since I only have 18, I'm going to have to go smelt up some more glass. So that's going to have to be done now. While I wait, I'm going to start building up the rest of the iron farm, namely the attics. 2 stacks of sand should do it. And if I need more glass, that's where I'm going to get it from. And now it's time for the final step of this iron farm, which is of course making up the attic. Now this is the one that does have a bit of an overhang, so if I'm careful and not like I just did there, I can get the overhang in and then create the attic, the attic door, not the doors, the windows. That's what I'm thinking of, the attic windows that you saw in the earlier part of this video. So I'm going to get that done on this one and on the next one, and then detail what the next part of this video is going to entail. And there we go. As you can see, the 2 iron farm houses have been built. That's mainly just to protect the water chutes and all that stuff, just to make sure that ice don't fall in myself or any other player falls in, and of course any other mobs, because I have had some skeletons and zombies falling in. So that's the main purpose behind this. Plus it makes it look a little bit neater and all that. Now moving on to the next project for today. And the next project I was talking about is installing some kind of collection system under this. Now I was thinking of putting I was thinking of putting hoppers under each one of them, but then I calculated that just in this square, I'll show you in a second, from this square down here to the diagonally opposite one, that's 29 squares this way and 50 down this way, and I believe that's just over 1400 hoppers, which is a lot, probably a little bit too many. Now the other thing I could do, of course, was minecart hoppers, but they have a tendency to just stop working occasionally, and I don't really want that to happen. So I'm going to have a think about that and decide which way I'm going to do. And of course 1400 hoppers is just that half of the farm. I'm still going to have to do ones for under this bit as well, which is still another maybe 200-300 more hoppers. It's quite a lot of hoppers. And of course that means 5 times as much iron, which is looking in the regions of 7,000 iron, which I don't have. And after a bit of thought, I've decided to scrap the idea of putting a hopper under every single one of these slabs. For one, it's going to be really laggy, as hoppers do create just a little bit of lag, and having 1400 of them is going to increase that lag. So that's a good idea for not doing it. The second thing is that I've decided to look into doing some automatic tree farms. Now, I'm going to have to go into a creative world to see exactly what I can do with that, but I've got a few ideas in mind. Now, it's not going to work with these ones, where if I'm going to want double high trees, so I'm going to have to trial a few designs, and I might just plop it on top of these ones to get rid of all the trees and then redesign the exact, I really can't think of my words today. I redesign all the tree bits here, so it works exactly the way I need it to. Now, going into the creative world, there's a few different types of trees as I see it. There's the first kind, the oak ones, which if we just run through these with the bone meal, that didn't quite work out the way I thought, but they're the kinds that you can run right next to each other, although this hasn't actually been the best demonstration of them. But at any rate, so those can grow right next to each other. Then we have the next kind, which can grow at an L shape, or a rook. The way a rook moves in chess, so it's not quite like that for some reason. But yes, they can go in a diagonal, so if I were to go like that... Wait a minute, that's not working, why not? Maybe it's just the first one, but anyway, they do grow two apart at any rate, so I'm not quite sure why it works like that. And the same holds true for the spruce, so if I was to go like that, then like that, now I'm trapped in the leaves. So like that, and then if I were to put the sapling there, it should grow. I just need to take up some of the leaves and grow. That's a bit of a pity, but yes, the idea is that if I push the sapling 2 blocks away, the tree 2 blocks away, then I can start putting another one in. Jungle, I think, was the same idea. It could only grow 2 blocks apart again, and there we go. nothing. Let's try the L shape, and no. Oh yeah, wait, it did. So, and then we have the, what haven't I done? The acacia ones, which grow really weird, in that really weird shape. Again, these weren't the best demonstration, but from the looks they do grow nicely in the L shape. If I were to bone meal them nicely. Again, that one probably didn't because of the saplings above it, and this stuff above it. But if it had clear daylight access, there we go, it did. So what I'd probably have to do is put I'd have to put a, what do we call it, a glass block at the top, and then plant that. And of course the odd exception is the dark oak ones, which have to be grown in the 2x2 format. So let's just quickly get that up going. 2x2 and bone meal that, and let's have a look. I'm not guessing they don't grow right next to each other, although we can give that a whirl. As expected, they didn't. Let's have a look at the next one, the direct diagonal, and of course they didn't. Let's try the L shape, which this isn't quite an L shape, but we'll see, and it does. Let's try that again, and with the direct, so we'll leave a block in between and then one down, I think, yep, so 1 or 2 down from the corner, and there we go. So dark oak actually works quite nicely, although I'm going to have to redesign the idea I've got with the tree farm just a little bit. Now, this is the first time I'm having to build an automatic, or a semi-automatic tree farm anyway, one where the tree gets pushed into a nice collection area. So the idea that I've got is that I plant the tree, and then the redstone detects and it pushes the tree just off to the side a little bit, and I can then plant the tree again. So it just keeps moving the tree over and over again, and keeps building up the wood, so I can then go through and chop it all down. Now this is going to present a little bit of a problem. The oak, of course, is going to be nice and easy because I can just push it in a straight line, or straight next. For example, with this tree, I could just push it 1 block to the left and then plant again, and so on and so forth. With these ones, it's going to require just a little bit more pushing, so I'm going to have to require it to push 1 block down and 2 blocks to the right as I'm facing it here, which is just a little bit of a pain. But then, of course, when it's here, I should be able to just push the wood right next to each other. So once I've pushed it down and 2 blocks to the right, I can just keep pushing to the right more, and so on and so forth. So that should work for the birch, for the whatever this is, the spruce, the jungle, and potentially the acacia, although that won't have to do quite a little bit more work. The dark oak from the looks would be similar, except I'm just going to have to expand the pushing mechanism just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is look up some tutorials and build them into Creative World, of course, and then test it out and see, and then I'll come back when I've done all that. And after a few days of looking on the internet, I finally found this design. It's by a YouTuber whose video I'll link in the description, and as you can see, it can handle pretty much any kind of wood except, of course, dark oak. I'm just going to pop inside the bit over here for a second, so it can take all those wood types and with the variations, and pushes it all through. Now I'm just going to get myself in here, and it does require quite a lot of observers and sticky pistons and normal pistons and obsidian and a lot of stuff, including slime. And to show you that, I'm going to have to go outside again, and here we go. So it does require, I think, 13 slime blocks, and of course all the slime to go on top of the sticky piston, so that's quite a lot of slime, which unfortunately I don't have, but thankfully it's a resource that I can get pretty easily. And having a look at the capacity of it, assuming that every log is, or every tree is going to be 6 blocks tall, this thing is an 11 by 12 space, which is 132, and a 6 high would be over 700. I think that's 780 or something like that. So that's quite a lot of wood, and of course it can go up higher if needed, or lower if needed, of course. So I think the only thing now is to build this into the realms, and it's going to take quite a while, and I'm going to pop into the creative version of the realm to see exactly where I should build it as well. And here I am in the creative world. This is actually an older version of the game, just a little bit further back from when I built these iron farmhouses. Anyway, so this is where the current tree farm is, and I'm thinking that since the design that I'm going with doesn't have the capability to do the dark oak, that I leave a segment over here. I'm going to have to rework this, of course, to a segment over here to handle the dark oak trees, and then with the planned river, I curve that around from around here, and then bring it around so it actually joins this river somewhere over here instead of the planned over here, and that will set me up nicely for the project I've got planned in the next episode. That said, and then I can tree farm over on this island, which is of course part of my base as well. So I'm thinking that is probably the best plan at the moment. Of course I'm going to have to do quite a bit of flattening and possibly expanding, because I'm not quite sure this island is big enough yet. We'll have to see. Unfortunately, my last clip didn't record properly, but what I did in that one was start cutting down all the trees, and now it's time for me to cut down all of the stone slabs and dirt and whatnot. And not to worry that I now have a silk touch pickaxe, so I can now start getting rid of this glass and keep the resource that I get from it. And there we go, the entire original tree farm has been cleared away, and all the resources have been stacked away back into their storage system compartments. Now it's time for me to gather all the many resources I'm going to need. I think I'm going to need a whole stack of redstone and repeaters and observers and pistons and sticky pistons, so I'm going to start gathering those and start putting them all into chests over here. And there we go, it is functionally complete. All the redstone is in, all the little bits all the decoration bits are in, all these fence bits are in. So everything, this should be functionally complete, and of course I've got all my saplings over here, and the functional bits, the oak bit and the acacia bit, and all the redstone in here, with all the pistons and all the stuff up there as well. It's all finished, complete, and I believe this is my biggest ever survival project that actually works. I remember building an iron farm once that didn't work, which was a bit of a pity. But anyway, now it's time for me to decorate this thing, so I'm going to start looking at some bits where I can improve it on the outside, especially where this glowstone is. I'm pretty sure I can make this a little bit better. And that's to say nothing of the big giant gaping hole that's still left over here, so I'm going to cover this up as best I can, and of course, and perhaps put a little bit of a house or something over it to make sure it doesn't look terrible from the outside. Okay, and now that I've chosen to put just this little bit of a wood, a little bit of a wood pyramid on this side covering up the glowstone, I've also decided to put just a fence around it instead of building a massive house around it. I may of course choose to do that in the future, but that's a little bit too much for right now, given that I've just spent, over 20 hours I think would say, building this thing. Well, it may not have been exactly 20 hours straight, but it was quite a long time. Anyway, I believe that's all I've got time for today, so if you have liked this video, with me building a massive, a tree farm as well as 2 iron farmhouses, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll remember to put a link to the tutorial for this in my description. Goodbye!